A Homeless Man's Departure by Do Fu. After the rebellion of 755, all was silent wasteland, gardens and cottages turned to grass and thorns. The village had over 100 households, but the chaotic world scattered from east and west. No information about the survivors. The dead are dust and mud. I, a humble soldier, was defeated in battle. I ran back home to look for old roads, and walked a long time through the empty lanes. The sun was thin, the air tragic and dismal. I met only foxes and raccoons, their hair on end as they snarled in rage. Who remains in my neighborhood? One or two old widows. A returning bird laughs its old branches, or could I give up this poor nest? In spring I carry me home all alone, and still water the land at sunset. The county governor's clerk heard I'd returned, and summoned me to practice the war drum. This military service won't take me for my state. I look around and have no one to worry about. It's just me alone, and the journey is short, but I will end up lost if I travel too far. Since my village has been washed away, near or far makes no difference. I will forever feel pain for my long-sick mother. I abandoned her in this valley 5 years ago. She gave birth to me, yet I could not help her. Her cries saw sobs till her life's end. In my life I have no family to say farewell to, so how can I be called a human being? A second farewell to Governor Yan Wu at the Fengji post station, by Do Fu. We have come far together, but here we must part. The green hills vainly echo my feelings. And will we again take wine cups in hand to stroll as we did beneath last night's moon? Every district sings sad songs at our leaving. Few rains nor you have served with distinction. Now I must go back to my river village alone, and alone live out the rest of my days. Alone looking for blossoms along the river, by Do Fu. The sour of Riverside blossoms inextricable and nowhere to find. I've gone half crazy. I look up our sofa neighbor, but my friend is wine gone 10 days drinking. I find only an empty bed. A thick frenzy of blossoms shrouding the riverside. I stroll, listening dangerously in full fear of spring. Poems, wine, even with profusely driven I endure. Arrangements for this old, white-haired man can wait. A deep river, 2 or 3 houses in bamboo quiet, and such goings on. Red blossoms glaring with white. Among spring's vociferous glories, I too have my place, with a lovely wine bidding life's affairs bon voyage. Looking east to shower, its smoke filled with blossoms, I admire its daedal power wine shop even more. To empty golden wine cups calling such beautiful dancing girls to embroidery and mats, or could be it? East of the river, before Abbot Huang's grave, spring is a frail splendor among gentle breezes. In this crush of peach blossoms opening ownerless, shall I treasure light reds or treasure them dark? At Madame Huang's house, blossoms fill the paths. Thousands, 10 of thousands, all the branches down, and butterflies linger playfully, an unbroken dance, floating to songs auroras sing at their ease. I don't so love blossoms I want to die. I'm afraid once they are gone, of old age still more impetuous, and they scatter gladly by the branchful. Let's talk things over, little buds, open delicately, sparingly. Behind the gates of the wealthy, by Do Fu. Behind the gates of the wealthy, food lies rotting from waste. Outside it's the poor who lie frozen to death. By the lake, by Do Fu. The old fellow from Shaolin weeps with stifled sobs as he walks furtively by the bends of a serpentine on a day in spring. And the waterside palaces with thousands of doors are locked, for whom are the willows and rush put on their fresh greenery. And remember how formerly, when the Emperor's rainbow banner made its way into the South Park, everything in the park seemed to bloom with a brighter color. The first lady of the Qiang palace rode in the same carriage as her lord and attendants at his side, while before the carriage rode maids of honor equipped with bows and arrows, their white horses champing at golden bits. Leaning back, face skywards, they shot into the clouds, and the lady laughed gaily when the bird fell to the ground, transfixed by a well-aimed arrow. They have the bright eyes and the flashing smile now. Tainted with blood pollution, a wandering soul cannot make its way back. The clear waters of the bay flow eastwards, and Qiang is far away. Between the one who has gone and the one who remains, no communication is possible. It is human to have feelings and shed tears for such things, but the grasses and flowers of the lakeside go on forever unmoved. As evening falls, the city is full of the dust of fallen horsemen. My way is towards the south city, but my gaze turns northward. Day's End, by Do Fu. Oxen and sheep were brought back down long ago, and bramble gates closed. Over mountains and rivers, far from our old garden, a windswept moon rises into clear night. Springs trickle down dark cliffs, and autumn dew fills ridgeline grasses. My hair seems whiter in lamplight. The flame flickers good fortune over, and for what? Full moon, by Do Fu. Above the tower, a lone dry-sized moon, on the cold river passing night-filled homes. It scatters restless cold across the waves. On mats it shines richer than silken gauze. Empty peaks, silence, among sparse stars, not yet flawed, it drifts. Pine and cinnamon spreading a mild garden, all light, all 10,000 miles at once in its light. Gazing at the sacred peak, by Do Fu, for always, what is the mountain god like? An unending green of lands north and south. From eternal beauty creation distills there, yin and yang split dusk and dawn. Swelling clouds sweep by, returning birds ruin my eyes vanishing. One day soon at the summit, the other mountains will be small enough to hold all in a single glance. I stand alone by Do Fu. The falcon hovers at the edge of the sky. Two gulls drift slowly up the river, vulnerable while we ride the wind, the coast and glide with ease. Dew is heavy on the grass below, the spider's web is ready. Heaven's ways include the human. Among 1,000 souls I stand alone. Looking at Mount Tai by Do Fu. How's Mountain Tai? Its green is seen beyond State Kui and State Lu, a distillation of creation's spirit and beauty. Its slopes split day into yin and yang, its rising clouds billow in my chest. Homecoming birds fly through my wide-open eyes. I should climb to the summit, and in one glance see all other mountains dwarfed. Moonlit Night by Do Fu. Tonight at food show, this moon she watches alone in our room, and my little, far-off children, too young to understand what keeps me away, or even remembering Qiang by now. Her hair wild by mist scented, and jade-white arms chilled in its clear light. And will it find us together again, drapes drawn open, light traced where it dries our tears? Morning Rain by Do Fu. A slight rain comes, bathed in dawnlight. A year among treetop leaves before mist arrives. Soon it sprinkles the soil and wind-blown follows clouds away. Dependent colors grace fetch homes for a moment. Flocks and herds of things white glisten faintly, and a scent of musk opens across half a mountain and lingers on past noon. No sight by Do Fu. Deep by, no sight of you for a long time. It's tragic that you pretend to be insane. The whole world wants to kill you. I alone treasure your talent. Quick-minded, improvising thousands of poems, you roam like a falling leaf for a cup of wine. You studied here at Qiang Mountain, and it's time to return, now that your hair is white. Old Couple's Departure by Do Fu. The four outskirts are not yet safe and quiet. I am old, but have no peace. All my sons and grandsons died in battle. It's no use to keep my body alone in one piece. Throwing away my walking stick, I walk out the door. The other soldiers are saddened, pitying me. I'm lucky to still have all my teeth, but I regret the marrow has dried in my bones. Wearing a soldier's helmet and armor, I salute my officers before departure. My old wife is lying in the road weeping. The year is late and the clothes thin. For I know at heart this is our death farewell, a shivering and cold still hurts me. I know we'll never come back, yet I hear out when she says, "Eat more." The city wall around Earthgate is very strong, and the Xinguan barrier is hard for the enemy to cross. So the situation is different from the siege of Year City, and I will have some time before I die. In life we part and we rejoin. We have no choice, young or old. I recall my young and strong days and walk about with long sighs. War spread through 10,000 countries, till beacon fires blaze from all the peaks. So many corpses that grass and trees stink like fish, rivers and plains dying red with blood. Each land is the happy land. How can I linger here? I abandon my thatched house and feel my liver and lung collapse. Overnight at the Riverside Tower by Do Fu. Evening colors linger on mountain paths. Out beyond the study perched our river gate. At the cliff's edge, fair clouds stay all night. Among waves a lone shuddering moon. As cranes trail off in flight, silent, wolves snarl over their kill. I rode on our wars, sleepless here, and to ride a relentless heaven and earth powerless. Passing the night at headquarters by Do Fu. Clear autumn at headquarters. Wutang trees cold beside the well. I spent the night alone in the river city, using up all of the candles. Sad bugle notes sound through the long night as I talk to myself. Glorious moon hanging in mid-sky, but to looks, the endless dust storm of troubles cuts off news and letters. If one passes are perilous, travel nearly impossible. I have already suffered 10 years of turmoil and hardship. Now I am forced to accept a perch on this one peaceful branch. Rain by Do Fu. Roads not yet glistening, rain slide, broken clouds darken after thinning away. Where they drift, purple cliffs blacken, and beyond, white birds blaze in flight. Sounds of cold river rain grown familiar, autumn's sun casts moist shadows. Below our brushwood gate, out to dry at the village mill, hulled rice, half wet and fragrant. Restless Night by Do Fu. A bamboo chill drifts into the bedroom. Moonlight fills every corner of our garden. Heavy dew beds and trickles. Stars suddenly wear sparks next aren't. Fireflies in dark flight flash. Waking waterbirds being calling one to another. All things caught between shield and sword. All grief empty, the clear night passes. The Eight Formations by Do Fu. Your achievements overshadowed any in the three kingdoms. Most famous of all was the design for the Eight Formations. Against the river's surge they stand solid, immovable, a monument to your lasting regret at failing to swallow up Wu. The Firefly by Do Fu. Born from rotting grasses stem, still the daylight thou must fear. On my struggle the tiny lamp scarcely lets the birds appear. But on strangers' dress from far shinest thou a tender star. Oh, when wind-borne on the gauze, my window-making pause, small thy phosphorescent beam as the fairest eye doth gleam. From the rain you safely hide in woodland undescried, but once the web's frosted chill will leave like faded from the hill. The Mockingbird by Do Fu. What, is the mockingbird come? The spring, he comes to say, spring is here today. All sounds, all words he knows. His feathers preen how he will, he is the same bird still. Where flows most thickly screen, difficult to be seen, as the ringing notes deride the topmost boughs between. If out of time he chide, flow slender at your side. The Pitiful Young Prince by Do Fu. Hooded crows fly at night over the walls of Qiang, uttering harsh cries above welcoming autumn gate, then head for people's houses, peeking at the lofty roofs beneath which high officials scurry to escape barbarians. The golden whip is broken in two, the 9 horses are run to death, but it is still not possible for all of royal blood to flee together. In plain sight below his waist, a precious ornament of blue coral, the pitiful prince stands weeping at the corner of a road. When I ask, he refuses to tell either name or sure name. He only speaks of his desperation and begs to become my slave. For 100 days now he has lain hidden in brambles, where is no whole skin left on his entire body. But the sons and grandsons of Gao Zu all have the same noses. The dragon's seed, naturally, differs from that of ordinary men. Jackals and wolves in the city, dragons lurking in the wilds. The prince had been taken care of at 1,000-tail body. I don't dare talk long here in plain view by the crossroad, but for the sake of my prince I will stay for a moment. Last night the east wind blew in the stench of blood, and camels from the east filled the former capital. The sure-fang veterans were known as skilled warriors. They always seemed so fierce, but now how foolish they look. It is rumored that the Son of Heaven has already abdicated, but also that the Khan is leading his support, and the men of Fu gashed their faces and begged to wipe out this disgrace. Say nothing, someone else may be hiding and listening. Alas, Prince, you must be careful, stay on guard, and may the spirits of the 5 tombs watch over you always. Thinking of my brothers on a moonlit night, by Do Fu. Drums on the watchtower have emptied the roads. At the frontier it's autumn. A wild goose cries. This is a night on which dew becomes frost. The moon is bright like it used to be at home. I have brothers, but they are scattered. Almost broken up. Are they dead or alive? If letters are sent, they never arrive. This war that separates us seems unending. Thoughts on an ancient site, birthplace of Wang Qiang, by Do Fu. Through flocks of mountains, myriad valleys, arrive in Jingmen, where Mingfei was born and bred. The village is still there. Once she left the crimson terraces, there was nothing but endless desert. Only her evergreen grave is left to face the twilight. Portraits have recorded a spring-fresh face. The tinkle of girdle pantons heralds a soul's vain return by moonlight. For 1,000 years Pippa has wailed in its alien tongue, as if its strings bemoan in song a tragic tale of grief. View from a height, by Do Fu. Sharp wind, towering sky, apes howling mournfully. Untouched island, white sand, birds flying in circles. Infinite forest, bleakly shedding leaf after leaf, an inexhaustible river rolling on wave after wave. The 1,000 miles of melancholy autumn I travel, carrying 100 years of sickness. I climb to this terrace. Hardship and bitter regret have frosted my temples, and what torments me most, giving up wine.